12 years of constant bleeding, 12 years of pain, of shame, of being called unclean by her own people. Her name was Rachel, but no one called her that anymore. To society, she was just the impure one, the untouchable, the cursed. Today, she was about to risk everything, her reputation, her life, everything for a single touch, a touch that would change her story forever. Rachel still remembered the day it all began. She was only 20 years old, beautiful, full of dreams, about to get married. And then the bleeding started. At first, she thought it was temporary, something doctors could easily cure. But days became weeks, weeks became months, and months turned into 12 long years of torment. She spent everything she had, every coin, every piece of land, doctor after doctor, treatment after treatment, bitter medicines, painful rituals, empty promises, and instead of getting better, she only got worse. But the worst part wasn't the physical pain. It was the isolation. According to the law, a woman with her condition was considered unclean. Everything she touched became unclean. Anyone who touched her would become unclean. Her engagement was broken. Her family pushed her away. Her friends turned their faces. Children ran when they saw her in the street. She lived in the shadows, a ghost among the living. "Why me?" she'd ask the heavens every night. "What did I do to deserve this?" Silence was her only answer, until one day she heard a name. Jesus. The stories came from everywhere. A man with leprosy, healed with a touch. A paralytic who hadn't walked in years stood up and walked. Blind people seeing again, deaf people hearing. He heals the sick, people whispered. He doesn't care about the purity laws. He touches lepers. He talks to sinners. For the first time in years, Rachel felt something dangerous, something she had buried deep in her broken heart. Hope. What if, she thought, what if he could heal me? But there was a problem. Jesus was always surrounded by crowds. By law, she was supposed to shout unclean when approaching anyone. If she was discovered in the crowd, she could be stoned to death. And then she had an idea, a crazy, desperate idea. I don't need him to see me. I don't need him to speak to me. I just need to touch him. Just one touch on the hem of his garment. That's all. She believed with every fiber of her being that if she could just touch the edge of his robe, she would be healed. Then she heard the news. Jesus was coming to the city. It was now or never. The day arrived. The streets were packed. Rachel hid her face under a thick veil, her heart pounding. She approached the crowd. People were shouting, pushing, trying to get closer. She was weak. 12 years of illness had drained her strength, but faith propelled her forward. "Excuse me," she whispered, slipping between the bodies, invisible as she had always been. Then she saw him. Jesus, walking with purpose, surrounded by his disciples. "Just one touch," Rachel repeated to herself. "Just one touch, and I will be healed." She moved closer, closer. Her hand trembled. 12 years of pain, shame, and desperation converged into this single moment. She stretched out her hand. Her fingers brushed the blue fabric of the hem of Jesus' garment. And then the world stopped. A warmth coursed through her body like sacred fire. The bleeding stopped instantly after 4,080 days of continuous suffering. Peace, wholeness. Rachel fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She was healed. "Who touched me?" The voice cut through the noise. Jesus had stopped. The crowd fell silent. His disciples were confused. "Master, the crowd surround you and press against you, and you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus looked around. "Someone touched me. I felt power go out from me." Rachel trembled. She had broken the law. She had made him unclean. But she couldn't lie. Not to him. She came forward, fell at his feet, and before the very crowd that had rejected her, she told everything. "It was me, Lord. I've suffered for 12 years. I heard about you, and I thought, if I could just touch the hem of your garment, I would be healed. And I was." The crowd waited for the rebuke, but Jesus looked at her with pure compassion. He extended his hand and gently helped her to her feet. "Daughter," he said, "that single word broke every chain of rejection. Your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." He didn't just cure her disease, he restored her dignity, her identity, her humanity. That day, she was no longer the woman with the issue of blood. She was the woman of faith. Maybe you're carrying your own disease. Maybe it's a broken heart, a trauma, a shame you can't release. Today, Jesus is asking, "Who touched me?" He knows you're there. Hidden in the crowd, invisible to everyone else but not to him. Stretch out your hand of faith. One touch, that's all you need. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who is losing hope. Leave an amen in the comments if you believe in the power of a touch of faith. Are you in need of a miracle today? Leave your prayer request below. Let's agree together, because the same Jesus who healed Rachel is alive and hears the cry of your heart. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more powerful stories that will renew your faith. God has a miracle with your name on it. Believe